everyone. Well, I am hiking to Pine Grove State Park today and setting up a tent. It is supposed to rain this afternoon, so I'm hoping I'll get there before the rain starts. There's not a shelter there. I have already passed a troop of Boy Scouts. Cute. Loud, noisy, rambunctious, but cute. They were about 10 to 14. So this is where I've just come from. The forest is positively gorgeous. It is breathtaking. And other than these rocks right here, I have had no rocks to try and get over today. I am back in Michaud State Forest, and I'm at Big Pine Flat Barrens Restoration Dead Woman's Hollow project. You know, that's not a very comforting thing to be in Dead Woman's Hollow. Anyway, here we are. It is 55 degrees, slightly breezy, and this is I believe it's a 13.6 mile day, and we'll see how my feet do. Y'all have asked me some questions, and I thought I would take a little bit to try and answer what I can. So somebody has asked me what kind of camera I use, and what I use is my Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus phone camera, and it takes great photos and videos. I cannot recommend the phone. This phone is very finicky, and if you do your Google search on it and look for that name, Samsung Galaxy 22 Plus, crackly sounds, you will find that often when this phone is out, when it's raining and it's not getting wet, it's just the humidity and the dampness, or it's humid, or it's too cold, or it's too hot, the phone doesn't want to work. And what you have to do is put it in rice and let it sit there overnight without bothering it. I talked to Unbound Crow about this because she has the same phone as I do. She doesn't have a problem with her phone, but I do. And she said, well, rice is too heavy. Carry silica gel packs. So I ordered silica gel packs from Amazon, and I have about a dozen of them in 2 different bags. A dozen in one bag, a dozen in another. And I put my phone in that bag at night whenever I'm sleeping, so the moisture from my phone can be absorbed by the silica gel packs. When it's raining or it's super foggy or it's damp, I have to leave my phone in that all day long. I really can't take my phone out because I don't know if it's going to work the next day. I did the same thing with my iPod, and it helps with that as well. The silica gel packs don't weigh very much, and I really don't have a choice. Regardless, it was that or rice because of my phone. So I've been asked what shoes I am wearing. I am wearing Topo's Venture shoes, and they have been working really well. I have the Sol, S-O-L inserts. They have a cork microbial bottom, and it's also a little bit thick where it won't bend like Super Feet and some of the other ones, which is what you want. You want a more rigid shoe to prevent plantar fasciitis and more rigidity and a rock barrier on the bottom of your foot. And so far, the shoes are working out famously. I'm very happy with them. You all have asked me how my feet are doing. That's sort of an iffy thing. By the end of every hiking day, my feet are a 10 out of 10. Every single time, without exception. I have exercises I do when I get to a shelter or get to a hostel, and I put my feet up in the air for 30 minutes. I stretch, stretch, stretch. I do all kinds of things, curl my toes. And in the mornings, usually my feet are a 1 or a 2, but they're never a 0. And I've been asked, what is hurting you more, plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis? And the answer is Achilles tendonitis. Plantar fasciitis is still there. I'm dealing with it, but the Achilles tendonitis is far more challenging. I have found through experimenting that I can descend better than I can ascend right now. My feet don't like to be tweaked the way that they, slant when you're going uphill and pulling on the heel tendons and muscles. They don't like it. But I've done it, and it's gonna hurt. It's just the way it is. And then I have perinatal tendonitis, and that hurts all the time. It never goes away. So I get up in the morning, it hurts. I go to bed, it hurts. There you go. There's your answer. Not complaining, just answering the question. Asked about eating protein. And you people know who you are. I am eating those chicken packs, like the tuna packs that you can pack in your bear bag, but the chicken packs, I don't like tuna in those bags. And I'm eating them in a tortilla with cheese, a mayonnaise pack, and often a tomato with some salt and pepper. And I'll eat 2 of those for dinner. I eat nuts. I eat cheese. And I eat a lot of tangerines and apples. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sure I'm going to get an earful about this, but you asked, I'm being honest. I do like beef jerky, but I have not bought or packed it. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can appreciate what I'm looking at. I want you all to know, nobody told me about the rocks in Maryland. They're rocks, they're boulders. And everybody says Pennsylvania is full of nothing but rocks and boulders. That's not true. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Of course, I'm not through Pennsylvania yet. This is just this section, but I'm grateful to have this section today. This is awesome. After the last 2 days of boulder scrambling and rocks, wobbly boulders. I turned the camera around to share this part of the story with you. I think I was about 8 or 9. I might have been 9 or 10, I'm not sure. And my dad and mom took my brother and I to the state fair. And we loved it. Well, if you've ever been to a state fair, you know, towards the end of the state fair, you can buy, livestock. And my parents bought 2 bunny rabbits. And they had pink ears. They were the cutest little things. One's name was Tui, the number 2 and the letter E, because that's what was tattooed on the inside of his ear. So we just called him Tui. And I can't remember the other one's name. Well, my dad came home and he built a huge rabbit hutch for them and got everything that they would need. And my brother and I would go out there and play with them every day and pay attention to them. Well, one day I went out there, I was by myself, and I'd been out there many, many times by myself. And just as a little side note here, anybody that knows me knows I like to salt my food. I've been that way since I was little. And I kept staring at that salt lick Well, one day I just decided I needed to chase that thing. And I took a great big couple of licks off of that salt lick. Let me tell you something. Don't ever do that. That was a mistake. Don't do that. It was not good. It does not taste like table salt. And it kind of destroys your taste buds. You can't really taste anything for a long time after that. So, just to let you know, if you ever see one of your kids going near a salt lick, just don't let them do that. I've been asked, do you get lonely on trail? The answer is no, I don't. I haven't been lonely. I do miss my husband and my family, but I'm not lonely. Partially, maybe that's because I'm an introvert, and also because my whole purpose of coming and doing this hike was to be out in the beauty of nature and the silence and listening to the birds and, you know, pondering and thinking and processing information. And so this has been a beautiful, perfect opportunity for me to do that I have relished and appreciated, and that I am extremely grateful for. So no, I don't get lonely. I've been also asked, do you wish you could hike with somebody? And the answer is, as long as that individual and I can hike our own hike, which means we don't have to stay together all day. We can if we want to, and it works for both of us, or just meeting in a shelter or a campsite at the end of the day and being good company for each other. That would work. That would be fine. I've done that with a lot of people, and it's been wonderful. Backpacking Bible and I have talked about doing that as well. I've been asked since I came home for a month, was it hard to go back on trail and readjust again to being away from Stacy? Was it harder? Was it easier? And the answer was, it was easier. I cried and cried the first couple of miles after he dropped me off, and I do miss him because he's my love and we're very close, and I can't wait until the hike is over in a way so I can, you know, be back home with him. I'm not rushing my hike along though. You know, he and I both kind of resolved that it was going to be time apart, that I had a mission and a vision, and he also has a mission and a vision with some projects at work and some learning opportunities that, you know, he'll be able to do in kind of an undistracted manner. So it works for us. And we were apart for a year when we first dated, before we got married, and we made that work and did it well. We only saw each other twice during that 1 year period. So, and although that was a long time ago, we know what it takes to make it work while we're apart from each other, so it's okay. He knows I love him, and I know he loves me. I've been asked if my hiking seems to be going any easier since I relieved my backpack of a few pounds, and the answer is it still feels heavy to me. I am going to be sending my pod home. I have not used it once, and so I don't think there's a reason for me to continue carrying it at this point until the weather turns and gets cool again, or cold, so I can have a warm meal at night. Right now, I think that I'm eating tortillas and cold foods, and that suits me just fine, and so that's what I'm going to continue to do. This right here, these are the rocks that just tear up my feet. I have to think about every single foot placement when I'm walking through rocks like this. I can't just walk. They have to be conscientious decisions and very deliberate. And when you hike like that, it slows down your time. So, because the turning of your foot, the torquing of your foot going over these rocks, hurts my feet. Well, 1,100 miles, I wondered how I would feel when I got to this point. I have not hiked 1,100 miles, but I have reached the 1,100 mile mark. And while I'm proud to be here, there is a little bit in me that is not as celebratory as it could be because of skipping Virginia. But I am going to go back and finish Virginia, and I'll pull this up and look at it again, and I'll celebrate it then. There's the blaze. Here we go. There are tons of fern. It's a pretty water source. And I guess that's skunk cabbage. That's what I think you all have shared with me. You didn't share with me why it's called that, though. So if somebody would share that with me, that would be interesting. And I'd really appreciate it. I have to come on another stream. We're almost at Tom Run's shelter. Not much further. There's a lot of algae in the water here. That's interesting. I have not seen that up to this point. Okay. Almost directly after that water source, we come upon another water source, and there's a little shoulder area over here. There's an old chimney. We'll look at it closer. Small homestead chimney, I guess. Interesting. Okay. Okay, here's Tom Run's shelter. And there are some campsites right down there. There is a little covered picnic area here. I just finished hiking 1.5 miles with a Boy Scout troop. They were crazy funny. I've ran into 3 Boy Scout troops on today's hike, and I guess today's the day for them to be out. So, very interesting, cute kids. I enjoyed them a lot, and their scoutmaster and I talked for a while. So, those boys are doing a 10-mile hike today. Really impressive. And the littlest one is 8 years old. He's doing 10 miles. That's just outstanding. This is the trail. It is just lush and green and breezy. Seen a lot of birds, heard a lot of woodpeckers, but other than that, I have not seen any wildlife at all. This has been a very sweet, very enjoyable day. Those little Boy Scouts were cute. I've hiked down the highway to get to Pine Grove Furnace General Store and State Park. And that group that is ahead of me is one of the 5 Boy Scout troops that I hiked with or past today. This is interesting. Only archery deer hunting permitted. Well, Brian, there you go, buddy.